Hi, my name's Tamara, and I'm coming online here today onto this video because I really want to be able to explain to people a simpler way of thinking about how awake are you. Like to be able to say that to yourself in a way where you get an image of your potential, or you actually start to really understand the difference between activating just on 3D and the comparison when you are connected in to your higher self and start to behave, start to feel different, behave different, get attracted to different things and spend your time in a different way. And as a person who works on one-to-one with people all the time, I'm always assessing what I'm dealing with when we start off, when I'm doing a life reading for people, which is going to expose what they need to heal in order to be their higher selves. And what I've done today is I've gone all around in the yard and in the house actually, and picked up all the butterflies, my lovely these are metal butterflies. I'm not going to go outside and capture some of our wonderful butterflies here in Mexico, which are absolutely enormous and incredible to see. But I just wanted the symbol of it here. I don't have the caterpillar because that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the comparison of, are we living a caterpillar life? Do we talk caterpillar language, or are we into the butterfly now? Are we flying with our wings still wet? Are we flying and we're in full flight now with never looking back? Because that's a really good way to assess, is looking at what happens to that caterpillar. Let's start with, this may sound like a really simple biology lesson, but it really isn't. It's about us understanding who we really are. And we are truly the butterfly. We are truly meant now to be starting to fly in our full colours, even if our wings are still wet and we have just come out of hermit mode or just come out of long discipline periods where we've really changed our lives. We're still meant to fly and to start living our butterfly truth, our real truth, our higher self truth, with all the power that is in our eternal selves that have roamed the cosmos for many an ion of time. So when we think about the caterpillar, its life is about, it's born and it's very tiny, and all it does is eat. And it eats and eats and eats until it engorges itself so much that it goes into the chrysalis period, which is that stage when it's in total stillness. It's wound inside, wound and bound inside its own being in order to build what it needs to build to come out in its full colours. And that's our exact awakening. And I was really gifted a long time ago in the early 90s when I was being trained to channel. I didn't even know why they were giving me this story, but I know now why. And I have actually put it on my channel. It was a little tale called Magic Kabbalah, and it was a jester taking me through all the different colours of the rainbow. And one of the scenes that this jester took me through was a little story about a caterpillar who met a butterfly who'd already was flying in their full colours, and the sadness that happened because the caterpillar would not go into that pupae chrysalis stage. He just wanted to carry on. She was the feminine in the story. And I loved that story, and I still do love the story of how they taught me about how we are. And there were seven stories in this. And if you want to learn a little bit through a New Age fairy tale, have a look on my channel under Magic Kabbalah. But that is how it is. So at some point, we have to start going inside. And what happens is everything falls apart. Everything that we knew in our lives starts to go into this liquefied state. Go back to the caterpillar in the chrysalis. It's like an oozy liquid state where nothing seems real anymore. That's what happens. But that also happens in our awakening. And it's a difficult time because we're still around the people that we were around in the beginning. We're still, I remember my very first stages, because mine happened over a long period of time. Now it's much quicker for people, but I was one of those early flyers, if you like, and became a way shower for other people. I've been on the planet a good while this time round. And it was difficult because you then start to you want to be around the people that inspire you. So you change your friendship base. And this happened to me in childhood, actually, because I was always the weirdo in the teenage group that I was in. So I really didn't fit in there. And I had to have the courage to go wider. And I did, much further afield than many did. And just to find my soul tribe all the time. And my soul tribe kept changing because many people stop along the way. So what we're looking at here is there is no easy way of maintaining caterpillar status and thinking that you're awakening, because it's just never going to happen. So if you're doing all the old habits like the caterpillar, all it relies on is the 3D gobbling of food, right? And sustaining on a very functional level. And there are many people out there still pouring coffee into themselves on such a manic level that they are never going to stop and think about who they are or where they are even. There are people who are anesthetizing themselves with alcohol. There are people anesthetizing themselves with marijuana, incredibly so, and then saying that, oh man, I'm cool, I'm awake and aware, and they're not anywhere near that. When I used to have when I was living around cultures like that were around me, I wasn't a part of it, but they were certainly around me. I used to have a rule where you had to stop marijuana for 3 days before you came to me, because the person that I had in my room when I did allow this wasn't taking in any of the information. They were not present enough to even hear on the right level what I was saying. So I would have certain rules. Also with people who drank a lot of alcohol, they had to go dry for a period of time before I would even give them my energy. And how else do we do it? Some people eat themselves, to unawareness. Because if you put more and more food in your body cannot do anything but attempt to digest it as quickly as it can. So all your energy goes into digesting that food. And this is how they feel a sense of calm. It's a false calm. It's a horrid calm. It's an anesthetized state when people overeat. But that's why they do it. And maybe they never let themselves go hungry in order to see why they're doing it. And this is a good thing, actually. I was talking to somebody recently who smokes. And just before they left, I said to them, if you really wanted to give up, ask yourself before you have the next cigarette why you're doing it. But don't say to yourself that you're not going to allow yourself to have it, because you won't get the correct reply, because our subconscious is tricky like that. So what you do is you ask yourself, this is how I gave up cigarettes many decades ago now, but I had to ask myself why I was having that cigarette and then allow myself to have it. And every time it was the same sort of thing. And mine was quite crazy when I thought about it, but I'm so pleased I did it. And it made sense as I kept asking myself, is that I always had a cigarette when a situation got sticky. And it was always because I didn't think people would be able to take me as I really was. So I decided to hide. And I could hide by taking a really long drag on that cigarette because it anesthetizes you to a certain extent, and it holds you back. It holds back the higher quality of you, the energetic quality of you. So it's really, really interesting. I find this interesting too. Every time I do a video, there's something happens from the universe, and there's a man out there doing this huge, huge whistle. Can you hear him? He's gone now, but about a couple of minutes ago, he was there. And that's to tell you that the rubbish takers are coming in the truck. And they do this call out so that you can run out at the last minute and take it. And isn't that what we're doing? Isn't that what's happening on this planet at this time when we should have so many more people more awake? They need to take out their rubbish. They need to look at what rubbish they're taking in order to quell the awakening. They're actually subduing themselves. One of the reasons I came on as well to do this, because this has been brewing, the caterpillar butterfly thing, the kind of familiarity I have with the notion of that and seeing that and that coming to my mind all the time when people are not in their butterfly yet, is that when I'm listening to readings, and I listen to a couple of readings a day, and there are, God, we have some great readers on YouTube. I just love it. And I often leave comments to thank them for doing what they're doing and for having the humour. But when people are doing readings, and there's so much drama in a lot of the readings at the moment, there's themes that have been going on for at least a year. And when they're dealing with these people who are not awake, who are obviously causing a lot of drama to other people, and certainly within the twin flame connections and the soulmate connections that are prophesized to come together right now, when they're talking about maybe one party who's still in the shadow, and very, very much in the shadow, the caterpillar, if we're linking it to what I'm talking about here, they're really sarcastic. And a lot of the readers, I am really shocked at this, because a lot of the readers go into this horrid shadow voice and they take the mickey out of the person. And I'm thinking, that is so bad for their own growth. Like, we can say, look, this is not meant to be happening. This should be stopped. You should put boundaries up. I mean, when I'm doing my own readings, I will be in a very serious mood if I am doing a reading and somebody's being a copycat and copying all of somebody's work, then it needs to stop. But I will not do it with a vengeful, hateful approach, because I've been in my shadow for many years before I woke up. And there's going to be still some aspects of my shadow that come through. I often hear an echo, but I don't go full into it, because what happens is it's a reminder when I get an echo, a little bit of energy rising on the wrong note. I am awake enough to stop it. But if these people are not, please don't take revenge on them. Please don't insult them, because it's their shadow selves. You're still in partly your shadow yourself. And that's why I would never do it, because we're never going to awaken them if you're insulting them. They're those people who really need to watch these readings to see how they're performing and what they're really doing to other people who are awake, who's sometimes meant to be in partnership with them. They're not going to be listening to your readings. They're going to be those ones that a lot of readers talk about that keep commenting, or they send people to watch what you're going to say next, or they block your channel, and we do have to put up with that. I have to, I have a lot of people from like religious groups, secret societies and things like that who have in the past come at me, but they don't hold their strength there for long, because I report it upstairs. I ask for upstairs to clear it. And I also give feedback to YouTube. But you using abrasive and horrid sarcastic tones to them is not going to help them awaken, because that all it is. It's not this horrid person who's never going to awaken. A lot of them are going to wake up, but only if you put your highest forward when you're talking about it. I mean, have compassion. Don't have sympathy, because sympathy is when you're so over the top with people. You know, the do-gooders in this world who are so soft and need the appreciation for themselves that they are a do-gooder. They do it in totally the wrong ways. That's sympathy. Having sympathy without understanding that that person's going through a test. Compassion is where you hold your own power and your own higher vibration, and you don't go into the horrid sarcastic voice of a shadow. That in order to do that voice, I almost feel you still have that part going. But anyway, that's not in a way, that's not any of my business, but it has come up into the forefront of my mind as we're discussing this, and it is something that takes me off guard, and I often come out of that particular reading and don't listen to the end of it if it happens, because we have to be aware when people are in shadow. Just to use my personal experiences of this, and again, the reason I'm coming on here is it makes it difficult when you're doing a live reading, like in person. I have people on my roof terrace, and recently I've had 3, over the last year, I've had 3 that were in full shadow as I gave them and revealed to them the truth of the reading, that they shuffled the cards. Their energy was in the pack as these cards came out. And I'm revealing to them what they mean. And they're fighting me every inch of the way with their shadow. And on all 3 occasions, about 15 or 20 minutes into the reading, I have made a commitment to myself that I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to use every way I can to explain it to them and to offer it to them so that they may be able to open up and receive it. And one of them, I remember, it was I'd gone half an hour over and I still hadn't got the breakthrough. And then suddenly we got it. I don't know what words came out of my mouth, but something came up and the person broke through and burst into tears. And then we had a great half hour reflecting on why they'd held on so long. What was it in their childhood back behind all of this? And therefore it becomes a very positive moment. And I must admit, with all 3 that I'm thinking about, I ended up with a very close rapport, because I was able to hold on and stick to my higher energy and my intuition being given to me and my connection to above, to the divine, to hang on in there. They take more energy, they take more compassion, they take more understanding for me to go that far. And sometimes, I'm sure, in the last year, I haven't had to give into it and think, well, do you know, time's up. I can't really give you any more because there's no more to say. I haven't had that thing happen. But it's interesting, isn't it? How far does our compassion go to those people still in the shadow that we know so well, because we've been there in full shadow, where we weren't responding to anything on the higher level because we're still stuck in our bitterness, our victim, our comedian. What about the people who laugh it off? And I do have one of those that I've worked with as well, and it can be kind of fun for a bit when they keep laughing and making it even more repugnant what they're living. But eventually that person has to come into their presence and connect and go inside and really start to peel back the layers of that onion to find out who they really are underneath the comedian who covers it all up, underneath the narcissist who is always right and in control and manipulating. I mean, behind all of these characters is this amazing angelic being of their higher self. So think about that too. Not only how are you dealing with your own journey, how much are you staying with the fact that you need to keep putting the disciplines in. You need to meditate every day in order to have your observer who observes what's going on from your higher self and can stop you when you're about to make this, well, you're walking down the road and you're about to fall down a very big hole because you're about to go in the bar that you promised yourself you weren't, or you're about to buy that next load of dope, or you're about to spend all your money on high fashion and then end up the victim for the rest of the month. Or you're about to go into this house that holds all these people who all they do is gossip about others, who are really sitting there in this marauding ring of caterpillars. Because that caterpillar has to lose that skin, go into the chrysalis, and come out as the new version of yourself. And I was trying to think of anything else that prompted me to do this whole thing, like comparing it to the caterpillar and the butterfly. Because for me, they've always been that vision, that knowledge that if I keep crawling along doing the same old thing, I am never going to get anywhere until I decide to go inside and let it all fall apart and then build this amazing person that I can slowly evolve to and come out. And when I was in England, one of the last workshops that I came up with was flying in your full colours with your wings still wet, because that's how it is for some people, and you have to dare to do it. You have to dare to go out and meet the new group of people that you've never met before, just because there is something inspiring you want to learn from them and what they're teaching. Or you need to connect with that person that you felt close to and really connected to on a higher level, and yet you're just happily sitting at home gloating and listening, watching the telly, and you never make any effort, because there is effort that needs to be made to put yourself into that pupae and come out different. And a lot of that chrysalis pupae period of time is about doing the disciplines that take you inside to your essence, because this 3D body is very caterpillar. And I'm just going to tell you a quick story, because again, this is part of why it got me into this video. I was up on my roof terrace and I have this amazing plant that I love eating, and it's one of the herbs, and it comes out with big lush leaves. It's lovage. It's called lovage, and I've only ever seen it once in Mexico, and I bought that plant that I saw. And there was these 2 caterpillars on my lovage, and they had decimated half of that plant. And I looked at them and thought, they're so beautiful, these caterpillars as well. They were like a pale lemony colour. But I thought, God, I can't kill them. I'm not that person. But I lifted them off and I put them somewhere safe, but it wasn't that far away. And I thought, well, that's okay. I've saved my beautiful lovage, although I am now having to wait longer before I can eat it again, which is an interesting lesson, because I should have been up there checking closer and I didn't. And I went up there the next time and it was completely gone. Not a leaf in sight on this plant that I've had 2 years, and I've really babied it, nursed it. I've given it love and attention a lot because I love eating the lovage in my vegan food. Anyway, my fault. I didn't move the caterpillars away far enough. Think about this in our lives. They obviously got back on that plant. They were nowhere in sight, so they'd obviously moved somewhere I couldn't even find them, maybe in one of the other pots. I still haven't found them. But the whole thing about it is that I should have taken more severe action, because it affected my life in lots of different ways, even how I'm eating. Now think about that. When you have caterpillar people that you keep going around, even though they're not inspiring, in fact, they take your energy, they're not the people you should be around. Or you sit in front of the television and you watch violence, you go to bed, and then you have bad dreams and get up in the morning irritable and have a bad day. All of that is caterpillar energy for you. Now, caterpillars can sit in front of the telly We're talking about caterpillar energy people. They can sit in front of the telly and they actually love being horrified by psychopathic movies, and maybe they love the nightmares. I don't know, because I don't exist on that level as a pure caterpillar anymore. But what I do know is I don't do that myself. So this for me was not only a lesson on taking them off my plant and really doing it forever. Like, I should have taken them, brought them downstairs, put them in a tub with some vegetable cuttings, which they're allowed to eat and where they'll just thrive. And then I should have taken them and put them in a bush outside where it didn't matter. But I didn't do that. I kept them still close on the terrace. Now, this is a real lesson in your life. Stop hanging around with caterpillars when you're a butterfly with your wings still wet, because you're not protected enough. You've not got enough power or energy yet to be able to come into their space. You will be able to do that when you're in your full power and you've learnt to fly in your full colours for a while. You'll be able to be around them. And that's the only way I do it when I do have a real caterpillar person who wants me to do a life reading, because I can do it until they cut through. But I couldn't have done that years ago. I really couldn't. I mean, I'm more in my full strength now. So this is all lessons about protecting yourself as these beautiful butterflies. And you may not be flying and zooming around yet and really making that huge difference that you want to, but you have to be protective of yourself. And also don't make fun of the caterpillars, because they're trying. And if you just show them a little bit of your energy, don't hang around a lot, but you could sit with them and chat for an hour and give them some inspiration. Don't be sarcastic. Maybe on your readings as well, for those readers who love being sarcastic about it, understand that that's the shadow in you that's being really, really sarcastic about it and really going into that horrendous and fighting them. I've heard people, start relating it to themselves and having a fight on screen as they're doing the reading. They're like saying, get out of my reading and all of this. It's just crazy. Just raise yourself higher and they won't be interested. They're only there because they're attracted in, because they know you're going to feed them some energy. Don't feed any energy. Be straight, clear, and on a higher level. Anyway, that's today's butterfly and caterpillar language video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe this makes you see what the journey is that we're going through just that little bit clearer. I hope so. And thank you for liking the video if you feel that you would like to do that, because it really helps me. I mean, I've had a battle for a year on my channel because of the information that I have about the earth changes, the information I have about people switching on their intuition so that they can make sure they're in safe places and that they start dropping the attachment to the 3D. That's why my site has things happening to it, and I can go from thousands and thousands of views to nothing for a whole week. And I have to fight through that. I have to keep moving on anyway. I have to keep putting the videos out. But it would be great if more and more people leave me comments or subscribe or like the videos, because I'm not going away. I'm just going to put more and more and more energy into this. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.